Yeah?
Happy?
Cool. Right. Welcome to another episode of the Stockcar Podcast. Today, there is no introduction needed. You can see by the car behind me, it is Tom Harris. Get in. Thank you very much, Tom, for having
problem.
us. I know we are on a short time schedule because you are very busy leading up to the British Championship this Sunday.
Yeah, it's you've got an hour and it's going down by the minute.
Right.
So
let's crack into it. Right, F1's. In 2009, obviously, when Gears and Tears come on, I actually started watching them. Your story, I know probably as much as most people do, but I want to get into the early racing career moments like we always do on the podcast. Where did you start? What do you first remember? Was it a natural thing from the mini stocks or?
I don't know. I did motocross. I've always been around a racing family, really. My dad's always raced from when I was a kid. He raced bangers and then moved on to Formula 2s. And I raced schoolboy motocross when I was a kid. So that's like my cousins and stuff race as well. So that's kind of where we grew up, really. We grew up racing.
Two wheels?
Yeah, my uncle Stephen had a bit of land with a practice track on. We used to go there after school and blat around for a couple of hours. And then actually I got run over by a machine and it broke my leg. So I was off motocross for a while, and then it kind of wasn't the same buzz as when I went back. And then in 1997, my dad moved into Formula 1s from Formula 2s. So obviously then being around the stock cars and the mini stocks, I wanted the junior Formula, I wanted a mini stock. So when I was old enough to get a mini stock, we got a mini, raced minis from 10 until I was 15. And then I had the final year out of the mini stocks to get one of my dad's old cars up and running for my first season in Formula 1.
So did you do well in minis? Did you?
I did okay. I never really won anything in minis.
No.
We didn't really spend the time on it. Obviously, dad's race in the Formula 1 was kind of priority.
That seems to be the case in a lot of
it is. Yeah, so
definitely.
we didn't do all the meetings. I was red, so held red,
But nothing
spectacular. Didn't win any majors or anything like that. So yeah, and then when I was 16, we got my dad's old car up and running and made my Formula 1 debut in 2005.
And how did that go?
It was quite good, actually. I started off the back and I qualified for my first meeting final, starting off as a novice behind the superstars. I qualified in my heat for the final at Kings Lynn, which was a massive surprise to me and everyone around us, really.
Was that the bug from then? Was that like, right, I'm sticking with Formula 1? Or was it just you weren't really that bothered?
Yeah, it was, when you're a kid, it's different, isn't it? Looking back now, it was a pretty good thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah,
but at the time, it probably didn't really mean what it should have meant at the time. But yeah, it was a good month, actually. I went from a novice to actually in the first grading period, I was fourth in the national points. I should have gone to superstar. I had a final win at Birmingham, I think. Maybe it was Hednesford. Birmingham, Hednesford had a final win. I had a big crash. Kings Lynn, I won the final. I had a big crash at Hednesford. I should have won the final at Birmingham, but I got Danny Clark took me out in the last corner. I had a really good month from white grade. It was quite spectacular, really. It was.
Did you have enough points to go to superstar?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
I was you up there.
Fourth in the national points, and they only let you go like 2 grades.
Yeah.
So I went to blue, and then I didn't really score anything from blue, but I still had enough points to go to red the following month.
So straight up to red in 2 months.
Yeah, straight up to red in 2 months, and then it was that tough bit then of learning to deal with traffic and stuff. It was wasn't just plain sailing driving off the front, and we got loads of damage and. Kind of it's hard, isn't it? Kind of sets you back a bit. Going off the front to end up being racing with the best in the sport.
Well, you almost go from being able to win to then not being able to win. You're like, oh, actually, it ain't as easy as I thought.
It's nothing's ever as easy as it looks, or if you think it is it? It's always a lot more to it, a lot more involved in it. But obviously, we've raced the family, and then.
Always the whole family.
Yeah, the whole family. So it's obviously me and my dad raced side by side. We had first and second in the final at Coventry, which is pretty cool. And then I can't remember what year it was now, but one of my sponsors bought me a tarmac car.
What year did you start in F1s?
2005.
Right, yeah.
I think it was 2008, maybe 2008, 2009. One of my sponsors bought me a tarmac car on an engine, and we rebuilt a car. And I had two cars then, and that kind of made the difference. So it was a lot easier to hold red grade then. because we used to swap like front axle, back axle, link arm, shocks, brakes to go from one surface to the other, and then it would always take you 3 or 4 races to get everything
back to
how it was. Even though you were swapping so much stuff, it was having 2 cars just made it a lot easier, and then you could concentrate on making it go faster rather than switching it over every week.
Definitely. And then, so that's in your 5th year, 4th year?
Yeah, 4th.
So you just was you a red grade the whole time?
Blue and red. I used to fluctuate between blue and red.
Yeah.
Like 2010-11 is when I first built my silver tarmac car, and that was kind of like when I held red and got superstar and like started to really do well then.
Because when I first saw your number in F1s, when I first started watching him, was it the gold? You had a gold car?
Yeah, gold car. Yeah, gold shell car. Yeah.
And you was always a red roof every time I see you.
Yeah.
And then after a few years, it just seemed like all of a sudden you went to winning a lot. As opposed to, was it a few years you just at red just learning?
Yeah.
You're always, I mean, looking at these machines now, oh my God, compared to obviously what I would drive, which is a standard road car, everything on there is fabricated, you know.
Like from the cars that we were building when I first started building, like in 10-11, to like this car behind us now, like, you know, silly things like the brakes. You used to buy a pedal box and bolt it in. Like now everything's custom fabricated. Like it's all just,
it's mental.
It's all fabricated. Like there's everything on that is just start from nothing. You know, like 8 weeks ago that car was in the trailer over around the corner and it's like sled on the floor. It was. And then over the 6-8 weeks whatever it took to do, because obviously we've got a lot of customer work to do as well. You can't do it full time, which is it's good because you get a break from it.
Yeah.
And then you go back to it with like a fresh head and you can crack on. Whereas it does get like the last week or so on, it did get a bit much really.
It was tedious as well because it's the nitty grits at the end that don't look like you've done anything, but they're the most important bits.
They're the most important bits, and they're the bits that take the longest. Like when you start with a chassis and then you have an undercarriage and you have bumpers and nerfs. Like it looks like you're doing something. Mm-hmm. Then you could spend a week on it. It doesn't look like you've done anything, and that's the hard bit. Like you need to get through that bit.
Them little bits that you've fabricated in the pedals, I've seen. I've had a look in there, and you're like, that didn't take an hour. That didn't take a day. And you're never going to see it, but it's some little things that you're doing.
Yeah.
For you, that is putting you where you are now.
Yeah, that's right. It's it's like all the fuel tank bracket and all the battery box. It's all fully drilled out, made to make it as lightweight as possible. Well, no one's ever going to see that. But I know it's there. Do you know what I mean? Like, so probably spend like 4 or 5 hours making a fuel tank bracket and a battery tray, whereas it could have took me an hour. But I've made it all lighter, and those little bits and all those little bits add up to be, you know, the end result.
The 2 temps that
that's
you are quicker than anyone else. So then going back to 2011, build your first car.
Yeah.
At what point? Obviously, you didn't build them like they are now, but is it each one you was doing? You thought, you know, that idea. Better than that. Because obviously to get to the jump from being a blue and red top, you know, is brilliant in F1s, but then going from there to the next stage, you know, is that a massive jump to be constantly getting to the front from the superstars?
Yeah, it's to be so consistent is really difficult, and that's not just down to the car, that's a driver as well. Like
that's years,
like I said, that's years of experience, isn't it? And putting yourself in positions and being in positions and not getting the end result which you wanted or deserved to do it different again. But you have to go through that bit of time to get better. You know, you have to go through the heartbreak of, it took me ages to win a major title. You know, I qualified for the World Final in my first season and then probably didn't qualify for another 4 or 5 years.
Oh, wow. I bet
it's hard, isn't it? You know, you go.
That's hard on you.
Yeah, you have a really good first season, a lot of success, and then you don't qualify for the sport's biggest title for 4 or 5 years, and it's like, well, I did it in my first year, and then he's like, you can't, you know, whether it be bad luck or
am I not good enough,
mistake, or you know, something go wrong. It was just one of those things. And then major title, I started on the pole of the British 3 or 4 times and never finished and never won, never really done anything, you know. And then when it all came together in the European, I won my first title. It just seemed to go from.
What year was that?
I'm gonna be rude. I think it was.
There's been too many.
I think
now.
it was 2012. I won my first title.
Right.
2012.
In your own car.
Yes. Yeah, my tarmac car in Northampton.
Which is a big achievement.
Yeah, and then it was massive because then we went to Holland, to Venray in Holland, that same year, and it was kind of like on the Saturday I didn't have a very good day. just there or thereabouts. And then on Sunday, it came really hot, and I managed to win the World Cup in Holland, and like my second
which is their
attempt,
biggest
yeah,
championship.
which is their
over
biggest
there.
championship.
That's like the world final.
Yeah, and it was like completely. Yeah, it wasn't on the cards. We went for a family social weekend really, and the racing was a bit of a bonus. And then to go there and have no expectations because of having such a poor Saturday, to actually win their biggest title was like kind of like, think about it now, it was unbelievable. It was like kind of made you take a step back and think like,
I actually done that.
Yeah, I've actually done that. Yeah, like I say, it took me ages to win one, and then I've been very, very fortunate in my career to be able to keep up and maintain and keep winning these big championships. It is really, really humbling to have your name up there with the greats of the sport. Your name's there in the history, and it's going to be there forever. Mm-hmm. And all the people that I looked up to as a kid and you read about, and the great Stuart Smith and John Lund and Andy Smith and Frankie Wayman and Rob Speak, all those people that you looked up to as a kid and that were racing when my dad raced, to be there with those people in the record books is really quite cool.
No, it's an achievement that, well, there's only a few that are up there and it's going to go down as legends. And obviously now you are putting yourself in that position. But obviously it didn't, that weren't what it was like at the beginning. You had a lot of years where you wasn't winning titles. But then building your own cars, was that the next stepping stone to get where you wanted to be or not?
Yeah, I believe
now your business is.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so because as a family with my dad racing, we could never afford to go and buy top equipment.
Right.
So obviously you can save yourself a lot of money if you do it yourself. And it's again.
Did your dad ever build his own cars?
He built a couple. I built one. I think he built a car that ended up in Holland. Daniel Van Spijker had it. But we used to get cars like chassis and then finish them ourselves.
Right.
And then, like, looking back now, we were idiots, really, because that's the easy bit. The chassis, the undercarriage, and the roll cage is actually the easy part of it. It's like we said before about all those little bits.
Yeah.
Making the pedals, making this bit, making that bit. That's all the axles and stuff. That's all the stuff that takes time and makes it, the end result, the 10th here and the 10th there. That's the bits that matter.
But that's years of building them.
Yeah.
I can imagine. That's you didn't get nowhere near that in your second build, third build?
No, nothing like that. Like I said, we got a car race out in front of us that was 2018, and if you park them two side by side, they're completely, like in different worlds to each other.
Yeah.
But like I say, this new car we've built now, like I built that car, went out first race out, won the world championship at Skegness, and then it lives here. Jamie Thornton owns it, Callum drives it, and it lives here. We look after it for him. I could have built one exactly the same, but you always want to go faster.
That next bit.
You got that next bit, that next bit, that next level. You just try a little bit here and a little bit there, because every time you build one, you can think, I can do that a bit better. I can do this a bit better, and then we've got this.
So, at what point did it become a business? What was you doing before building stock cars?
I did a panel beating apprenticeship. Mm-hmm. I was a car body repair at one of my long-term sponsor, Car Body in Banbury. I did an apprenticeship there as a car body repair person, and then I did a paint spraying course there as well. So I did like car body repair and paint spraying.
So you was already naturally leading into this.
Yeah, well, I always wanted to be like build a car, and then Ian Durham told my dad. Ian Durham that owned Car Body, started Car Body. He told my dad that if you're gonna build a stock car, you need to be able to be a body guy and be able to paint, because then you're gonna make a nicer job of making the panels and like all those sort of bits. So then we've got to the stage we're at now. I would say it's all those early years, isn't it?
You don't even paint it now.
No.
Still, you don't even.
No, I don't even paint. I'd never paint another one. Honestly, I'd never paint another one.
Yeah. So, at what point did you think I could make a living at this? Did you build a couple of cars and then somebody sees you do well, like 2012, you won, and they're like, "Well, you're going to build one for me"?
I didn't.
Or did it?
I didn't ever really want to do it as a business, if I'm honest. It just kind of naturally, you build a car, and then you have a car to set up, and then you have a car to repair, and then you go well in your car, and someone's, I want one of those. Would you build one of those? And that's just how it sort of like evolved, really.
It was a slow process. It was
never
you going, I do want to do this for
you. No, never, not really. We used to do all sorts of fabrication work. We used to repair a lot of digger buckets and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. My uncle's got a plant oil business, and Lockhart's used to repair a lot of digger buckets and machine stuff for them, fabricating welding and stuff. But the stock cars were always there. And then Dave Riley was actually my first, probably biggest customer, where it had 2 cars. He had a Wayman car, and again, like, I finished it, and then he had a new shell car. But we used to run that for him and take it to the meetings and stuff. And literally, he used to show up with his helmet and his gear bag, get in the car, wreck it, and then leave. And then we'd bring it back, wash it, repair it for him, for the next week. So that's kind of how it is now. And then, now we've just got work coming out my ears. It's just booming. It's
because there's a lot of you actually doing it. When you think you got Frank, Matt,
there is.
There's a load of you doing it, but there's still plenty of work.
Yeah, like when I used to drive the cars for Davidson's, that was like my job then. I used to look after the stock cars and get the cars ready and go racing. And then there was always sort of like drive a truck or move this or help in the yard or do whatever. And then obviously since I've come back from Manchester, like the racing stuff has just gone mental. It's so busy, and I almost thought it was going to be difficult to get back into. But
almost starting again.
Yeah, well, not starting again, but I still have my customers I did bits for, but nothing to the extent that
you're at now.
I'm at now, and it's
still just you.
Yeah, just me. Yeah. Well, Catherine's, she's got her own business. She looks after dogs, goes dog walking and house sitting and dog grooming and stuff. So when she's not working there, she's working here. My dad helps out. My mum helps out. Everyone helps out. But really, like building the cars and stuff is really just me.
What is your day to day or your week to week? Obviously, because now you're telling me you're going to shoot off to.
We're going to Skegness tonight.
Going to Skegness tonight. As soon as we've done this, they're loading up and they're going to Skegness, ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
First thing tomorrow. But like, what is your day to day or even week to week? I can imagine.
It varies so much to what we're doing and where we're racing, really. Like this last week, for example, Siad, the Dutch guy, we look after his cars. He had a new shell car for me to start this year. And his engine was a little bit underpowered. So he's bought a tarmac car for a big engine. This tarmac car he's bought has got a big engine in it. So last week we swapped the engines out of the tarmac car into the shell car and out the shell car into the tarmac car. Right, but that's just never as simple as things because we've got different exhausts, different heads, different cranks, different. Yeah, it's just a headache. I thought I'd do it in 2 days, but it took a bit longer than that. So his shell car is actually at Simpson now, having new exhaust made for it. Simpson Race Exhaust. They've sponsored me. They've been great to me over the years. They do a fantastic job. So yeah, his shell car is actually at Simpson having the exhaust made for it. That will be done for Kings Lynn, which is next week.
Would you then go pick it up and bring
so
it
we
back
take
here?
it there, and then Matt has it for a week, and then we'll go and pick it up and bring it back here. And then
all part of the service.
All part of the service sort of thing. He lives in Holland. So literally I do everything. Like his tarmac car's all ready to go, prep, tyres done. It's all loaded in the truck, ready to go to Skegness because he's going testing with me tomorrow to see how he gets on. And if he enjoys it and he gets on good, he's going to then race the British Championship on Sunday.
Right.
So,
which then obviously you bring the car back, make sure everything's right.
Yeah, we'll bring the car back, prep it again, go through it again.
Take it for him.
Yeah, wash it, clean all his tyres up, do all his tyres, like literally whatever it needs doing, service it.
A one-stop shop.
Set it up, literally do everything. Like I said, this car, like, don't buy anything in really. You buy the bits you have to buy, the shafts, the shocks and all that sort of stuff, the wheels, the tyres, but everything else I make and do myself.
I've seen a load of bits on the pallet there. This is all prefabricated, ready to go on these cars, I can imagine.
These new cars are getting easier now. Bingley engineer, Darren Bingley, he helps me up the track. He does a lot of F2 stuff. Yeah. He helps me. He's one of my mechanics that comes week in and week out to help with the cars at the track. It's a shame they're so far away because he does travel down. He travelled down a couple of days to help on finish this new car, but he gets all the stuff drawn. The stuff I use a lot, he gets it all drawn, and then he has it all laser cut and laser bent lift. So literally, we're getting more and more organised because we've got so many customer cars to do as well.
You need it to be able to sustain it. You need stuff like that to just speed.
It saves so many hours. Like you can literally pick a bracket up and weld it on, whereas you'd have to draw it out, drill the hole, or cut it out, drill the holes. Like it's just an ongoing process that takes forever. So yeah, we are slowly getting there. More and more things are, like you say, prefabricated, but it's each car, again, Siad's a big guy, so his car, we had to move the cross members back in the back of it. We had to make the chassis wider so we could get his seat in and sit.
The cab?
We made the chassis wider, the cab wider and taller.
That's not an easy job, surely.
Back. No, so we got the engine and everything in the right place. We had to move everything back so that he could fit in because he's such a big guy. And then that's not a 5-minute job. So So again, like every car we do is kind of custom to the driver and what type of engine they have, because some of these bigger engines with the dart blocks are like 12 to 15 kilos heavier than a smaller engine. So where you put the engine, obviously the weight percentage to get it in the right place to get the car balanced is a massive thing as well.
These machines, every time I look at them, every time I see them at a meeting, they just get more and more technical, and they are mental when you look at them. And the stuff and the work that goes into them for you guys to go out there and fence each other.
Smash it up, yeah.
It's brilliant. Our little 1300s, it's road cars, put bars around them, but these things are just mental. Absolutely mental.
It's like my car that Goodwill final. But again, I love it as well. Like I love going fast, but I love crashing as well. Like my car got absolutely destroyed at the beginning of the World Final. It was brand new. It had probably did 50 laps in its life, and like the 1.5 laps in the World Final, it got absolutely destroyed. And Ricky there, my cousin, stamping on the bonnet that we've spent weeks making, and then he's stamping on it and cable tying, drilling holes in it, cable tying it on and duct taping it on.
You do just to get you.
But it's what you do, isn't it? You're there and you've got the buzz for it. No, you just at that point don't care. No. At the end of the day, like we said, like it's all shiny, but it doesn't really matter, does it? It's only a piece of steel, and we'll just fix it and get another one.
Paint it over it. Yeah,
paint over it again. It's what it is.
So you're talking about World Final. What is? I mean, you got a lot of titles now. I think I know which one you're going to say is probably the best one. But what's your favourite title? And maybe if the race ties in with your favourite title as well, because sometimes it's about the race more than the actual title.
It's hard, isn't it? It's hard. Probably my favourite title of all was my first World Championship at King's Lynn.
That's what I was going to say.
It was the first one. They're all special for their own reason, their own part, they're all every title is very, very special, especially a world title is very special. But I think the first one, again, kind of unexpected, not really. I'd won a bit, won the shootout, won the European, won the gold, the long track.
Only won a little bit.
No, but nothing. It's not a world title, is it? It's not a world championship.
No, I know, yeah.
And like, if look at the stats, I've either not finished or I've won. Really, I think I've had a fourth in a world final. Other than that, I've DNF'd or won. Really, it's
the thing is the world final, because you got the semi-finals as well. Like then it's just so hard.
It is so hard, and
you are at the pinnacle of stock cars. And it is the best of the best drivers that get to the front of the semis, the best of the best drivers that win the semis, to then be starting with the best of the best at the front of the grid.
And you've got to have
with a target on your head.
You've got to have so much go right as well, haven't you? Like, Craig Finn obviously climbed back to Skegness World Final. First corner or second corner pile up. I end up in a pile up. Craig Finn come over the side. It landed on top of his front wheel, landed on top of the radiator. It hit the roll cage, scuffed the roll cage in, bent all the wing. Landed on the bonnet, bent the radiator in, missed the air filter, didn't knock the carburetor off. You got to have a lot of luck on your side as well. Like
all of it to be more cosmetic than.
Yeah, but then it hit the wheel. We had to get a steel saw and cut the wheel off.
How much repair time do you get?
It depends who you're listening to. That's a very
is that a question?
Yeah.
I believe that.
No. It's like, there was 15. I think
I love it.
15 minutes and 2 mechanics for wristbands. But the thing is, there was so many people on the track. When they'd finished fixing their car, everyone's helping fix my car because they want to see you back out there, don't they?
Yeah.
And the crowd, when I got back in, the crowd were booing and cheering, hollering. And so I got on the marker tyres and give it the big one, as you do when you get strapped back in. And it was, what a day, what a night.
Talk me through that day. That's, your fifth world title as well.
See, that one again is very, very special because I went from having everything to having nothing. Mm. And then to build that car, and then, no one thought I was going to win. No one thought I was going to win. And then after those first
because of the situation has happened.
Because of the situation has happened.
I saw a lot of things on Facebook about it and just
yeah, new car, under the radar, like not going to win.
Tom's on his own.
Yeah. Tom's got no money. Tom's got no this. Tom's got that, and he's not going to win. New car, never been done before. And like I said, everyone said, "Oh, you've been there a week practicing." I literally hadn't. I did 10 laps in it, and it caught fire. The power steering pipe blew off, and it caught fire. So
was that in the week of the World Final?
Yeah, I think it was on the Thursday. We went to take Timez. Timez was there, so we'd done some promo stuff for his social media and stuff, and get him comfortable in the car. And then we got there and they was painting the fence and doing the white line and stuff, so we couldn't go on the track anyway because they were doing that. So we ended up helping stock the bars and put the beer barrels away and
doing your part. Yeah,
yeah, just add into the part of it. And like I say, literally we did 10 laps and it blew the power steering pipe and caught fire. And then around there we couldn't get a pipe with the right fitting on it. Then we couldn't get a fitting that went in the box with the fitting that they crimped onto the pipe. It was just a nightmare. So, but it was the best thing that happened because everything had a chance to cool down properly. We sort of like forgot about it. And then Rob went out and the engine blew up in his elite car.
I was just going to get to that.
So
you
then
you had that to do as well.
We had that to do as well. So then we had a driver come here, pick an engine up from here, take an engine back to Skegness. Well, we unbolted
exactly close.
No, so we swapped the engines in his elite car that night. And then I had Dave Polly's car, which he was doing the shootout round, so he was racing on the Sunday. So I had his car as well to do. Yeah, it was just manic. It was an absolute manic. From obviously we finished my car, which has been a manic 10 days building up to it, getting that finished. Because at one point I had it sat on the floor here. My dad went in to go to bed, and when he came out in the morning, I'd cut all the suspension on the front, took the front axle and cut all the brackets off it because I wasn't happy with it. So we had a bit of an argument about that. Yeah, it was just one of those non-stop weeks, really. It was, but then got there, it kind of did me a favour, really, because it just felt like a normal meeting because I was so busy.
Yeah, you didn't have time to.
Time to take in about the situation, and then, like I said, the old guys did the demonstration thing, and then the engine wouldn't run right in Speaker's car because we had to change the carburetor and stuff. So I'm there trying to sort that out for them to do the demonstration with that, and then I missed my car going into Parc Ferme. The mechanics, like, thanks to them guys, Ben and Darren and Ricky and Max, whoever else was there, and Stuart Cheville, because they were there. Got my car sorted. It failed on rear weight on the scale. It wouldn't fail, it was close. So then they took it back to truck, welded some weight in the back and put it back through the scales and put it in Parc Ferme. So by the time I'd finished doing what I was doing,
busy doing something else.
By the time I was doing what I was doing with T-Mez and the elite car and everything else that was going on in the stadium, my car was in Parc Ferme. So it was like, well, it's done now, isn't it? Like, pressure was sort of like off. And then before the race, I went and got in the truck just because it had been such a busy day. Everyone can have a picture. Can you sign this? Will you do this? Can you come here? Can you do this? Can you do that? So we just went and had, 20 minutes in the truck, just chilled out. Spriver & Designs did me a new set of overalls, which no one had seen. I've never tried on. So got in the truck, put them on. And then Heidi, it was great that I'd literally taught Heidi to drive the micro that morning, the morning of the World Final.
Your daughter? Yeah.
My daughter, yeah. So I taught Heidi to drive the micro. And then we didn't think she could do it. So she drove out on the parade lap behind the car, the World Final grid. It was a really, really cool, really, really special event. And win or lose, it didn't really matter at that point because I had everything I kind of wanted to do.
And the week leading up to it and that, you wasn't sitting there going, I really want to win this. You didn't have time to do that.
Didn't have time to do it. It just literally just didn't have time.
So you sit on that grid then and you're like, I can imagine, right, now is go time.
I sat there and I knew the car was good. It was just how the first sort of like few laps pan out. And like I see Frank did his job on the first start, got me, clattered the fence. Didn't get a lot of damage, but then I was hung on the outside and obviously hung on the outside and then I got hit and then someone else hit somebody else and then I was then on the outside, there was a pile up. Just one of those racing incidents. No one destroyed anybody. It was just
how final.
How the race panned out, how the race sort of like took off. And then I was sat in there and I sort of like looked around and then I started trying to back up and the back inside wheel had been hit really hard. And I was like, oh, this doesn't feel very good. Anyway, like I said, they restarted it. We had the repair time. Managed thanks everybody to got it repaired. And out there, and like that time, I sat there and I literally had no pressure.
It was gone.
I knew I didn't. I never thought I was going to win. Like I sat there, pumped the brakes. Oh yeah, brake pedal was right.
We got brakes.
Drove round to line up, went to stop, and the pedal went straight to the floor. I was like, oh, this is great. So sat there thinking, right, I'm just going to have to maintain and like sort of like just do the best I can with this situation I'm in and make a race of it. And then obviously Frank got away and then Matt passed me and then I got to the front of the train again and I knew that I was going in. So as I went in, I just put my foot down and just drove it in the wall.
Glide it, yeah.
Because I thought they're all going to lift. And if I can just get that couple of car lengths, I'll be all right. And then I could feel like after I bounced out the fence that time, middle of the corner, I could feel like it was like dragging. It was trying to wash the front of the car over because the side rail had bent in. It was rubbing on the back tyre. So I was just like, again, it's just one of those, isn't it? And then I thought, get through traffic, and I got a couple of back markers between us. Then they cautioned it, and I was kind of glad for the caution because it gave the tyre a chance to cool down. But I didn't want the caution because I'd had quite a healthy lead. Again, after the caution, just maintained, and then towards the end, I really started struggling. The back outside tyre was obviously rubbing, so it was getting really hot.
You
so
see him catching.
The car was loose. I was struggling with brakes. Normally, I'm really good on the brakes, but I was really struggling with brakes.
Did the pressure come back then?
Not really, because not really. I just sat there, and you're in the zone, aren't you? You just thought, when I seen him coming, I thought with 2 to go, like, he's going to have to make it a good one. And he didn't. And I couldn't believe it. And then, like, with the last lap board, I looked up and I thought, oh, I've got a bit of a gap, which I always knew he was going to have a go. And then Joe Booth was there, so I just went in and put my bumper on his, and then no matter how hard Frank hit me, you're never going to move 2 cars.
No.
It was just a case of obviously hoping Joe didn't, no matter what you are, how good you are, anything, in that situation, you're in God's hands, really, because Joe could have spun, could have climbed over him, anything could happen, can't it? If you hit a car that hard, it could go anyway.
Yeah. Frank could go off, you could go off, anything could happen.
Somebody else could come over and win. It was just one of those things. And then, like I say, fortunately, we'd had problems with gearboxes week building up to it. So De Haan Motorsport in Holland, they gave me a gearbox. I just slammed first gear and just put my foot to the floor and crossed the line and went. And then it was like really surreal then. Look,
Did I do that?
Yeah, I've actually won in it was scrap. Like it didn't have a straight wheel on it. It was all the sides were bent. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. At that point, I lifted like I lit the tyres as I was across the line. I lifted in the middle of the corner. I literally just locked the back wheels up where the tyre was so hard on the side rail. And then I was trying to turn around and I stalled it like 3 or 4 times trying to get off the curb. And I was like, just when they were finally because I look an idiot now. But yeah, no, it was. And then to have Heidi on track as well, that's a special thing to me as well. Heidi is obviously, the older she gets, the more she understands now. So to have her with me and be able to come on the track and celebrate with me, really, really
when she
cool.
does fully understand.
Yeah,
my dad's just won, big title.
And like she said to me the other day, for the European, Dad, we've just got one more big trophy. We've only got space for one more big trophy. And like it's
no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, Dad. No pressure, Dad.
Oh, that's good. That's brilliant.
But like another highlight of the World Final is I'd gone up to watch the meeting final. Catherine was in the meeting final, and I'd gone up in the grandstand to watch. And as the meeting final finished, we'd like stood up and walked down the steps with Heidi, and the whole grandstand stood up and applauded. Like it was like that was like a moment of like wow. Like it was that's one of the highlights of the day, really. Like wow. Like people have actually like recognised I've just run up here. I'm now just walking back with my daughter, and they're taking time to applaud me, like congratulate me. Yeah. And I've just done a lap of honour as well. Like it's not like they haven't seen me, but that was a really, really cool moment.
No, that's good. That's brilliant. Really good to hear. Right, moving on now because we ain't got too much time. Racing in America. Where the hell did that come from? I mean, we're going to get into a can of worms.
It's a massive can of worms.
And obviously, what I think seeing you lot race out there is obviously benefiting your F1 career and your F1 skills massively because they are a lot quicker out there. But how did America come about?
So, I think, I don't know if I was 10 or we went on a family holiday to Florida.
The usual stuff.
Sprint cars, NASCAR, like the Villa, friends and family. Went to watch the World of Outlaws at Volusia, and the cars were qualifying, and I like come towards me on like turns 1 and 2, and I like took 2 steps back, and I was like, wow. Just wow. And then it's something that I've always wanted to do, really. And then when I was fortunate enough to win the World Final in 2013, a couple of my sponsors got together and put a package together to do a driving school in Texas in a sprint car. So
the big winged
410 sprint car. So we went.
The proper big.
Yeah, the proper like the outlaw car.
Yeah.
So we went to Smiley's and we've done all the garage sort of like tour, and he took us around and he explained sprint cars to us, and how the air works on the wing and how the cars sit left and the torsion bar set up on the back. Smiley's been around a long time, and quite thorough in what he went through, or the stuff he went through. Anyway, I went out in the car and they painted white lines on the track. You have to stay between the white lines. I thought, this is going to be a bit crap. Anyway, the guy went out in the car and warmed the car up for me, come back in, said, yeah, okay, track's good now, track's running now, right, jump in. Right, I want you to just take it steady and whatever.
Was they in
your ear, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did like 10 laps and they flagged me in. Said like, holy crap, have you never driven a sprint car before? I was like, no. So then they were moving the wing and changing shocks and stagger.
Right. And then you're like, well, I'm actually
and he's
not
like,
too bad.
yeah, and he's like, don't worry about the white lines. They were just a guide. We're like, I was like,
go.
Just so. I think they'd paid for 100 laps. I think they'd done more like 200 because they were like really loving it.
Yeah.
And they're still friends today. Like the guys that were there that like first set me in the car, like Smiley's crew then. We see them at the Chili Bowl every year and we go and have a drink with them and they're great people and they still talk about that day about don't worry about the white lines, don't worry about the white lines, just send it now. So, but yeah, and then from there, Smiley, I was like, what do I want to get into sprint car racing? I want to have a go. Like, what do I do? He said like, well, if you're going to get anywhere, you need to go to the Chili Bowl because the Chili Bowl has got every type of name, NASCAR, IndyCar, sprint car, late model, like that. Everybody is in that building racing for that golden driller. You need to go there. So we searched around and trying to get a Chili Bowl ride and couldn't think of anything, couldn't figure out anyway. Spoke to Smiley about it and he was friends with Bob East, which is, Bob East is a legend in midgets and sprint cars. Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart, like the greats of, the modern era, all started racing with Bob East. So I was very, very fortunate that Smiley put a good word in for me, and we went to the Chili Bowl in that January with Bob East in the midget.
Was in like give this guy a try.
Yeah, so we hired the car, but
not anyone can just hire it. They're not going to hire it to just.
It's getting a lot easier now.
Oh,
but
it is easier now. Right.
We didn't know anybody then either, and nobody knew of us, and it kind of like no one was interested. No one would hire you a car when you're an idiot from England, like.
We don't know.
We're not going to put you in our car.
No chance.
Don't care who you say you are, what you've won, like, you're not going to our car. So
they put in a good word for you.
Yeah, so it put us in a good word and we had a good car, but like, again, a sprint car with a wing to a midget with no wing that's really short, really nippy, like power to weight ratio, unbelievable. And I'd never sat in one, never seen one, let alone sat in one. And when I got in there, I'm sat in like all screwed up and so I was like, shit like this. And then it's like, again, never been to Chili Bowl before as well, so never watched it on TV, didn't know the procedure, like going down the ramp, getting on the track, how to start it even, like fuel on, or in gear, fuel on, ignition, go, like all really, really new, really, really, and you're in front of this building with a sellout crowd, it's quite daunting, really. So yeah, that was the thing. I did the Chili Bowl.
Just follow everyone else.
Yeah, just did the Chili Bowl with Bob, and then it escalated from there, really, and then I again got the bug, wanted to go further. Couldn't afford to do the wing sprint cars because of the engine rebuilds and the price of the engines. Couldn't afford to do that. So I sold my stock cars here and bought a non-wing sprint car. And we run out of Bobby's shop in Brownsburg in Indiana.
How long ago was this? Because I remember you keep going.
Went
too long.
16, I think it was.
Oh, it was.
And then like 2018, 2019, I flew backwards and forwards quite a lot.
Yeah, that was when.
But that was like my first time in a sprint car. And I know Gas City, I went the first time out in it. A non-wing car, not planted at all, like completely like wants to wheelie, wants to kill you.
Yeah.
I went out in it in hot laps and I was like, holy shit, you're really busy. And Bobby said to me, like, he said, what do you think? I said, I'm busy. Yeah. And like literally fighting the steering wheel.
I'm
like,
scared.
Yeah, I'm scared. And then, so that was the first night. Didn't crash, didn't do anything spectacular. C-main or whatever, but really enjoyed it. Anyway, we got back to shop, serviced the car, and Bob was sat in the front of the pickup on the way to Kokomo. He said, "Oh, you put your big boy pants on today?" Said, big boy pants? What are you on about? He says, "You'll see." So anyway, went to Kokomo, and wow, yeah, I was watching as I was rolling around. Like he said, "Go and get some engine heat, get in the track, find the track." So I went back in. He says, "What are you doing?" I says, "What do you mean?" He said, "You said get some light." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You're not even on the racetrack." I was like going around the market tires, like just rolling around the bottom. He said, "You're not on the racetrack." I was like, "What?" "Yeah, I am." Anyway,
I
so
thought
he's
he was taking a piss.
come up and watch. So we went up to watch the first group of hot laps, and literally I was stood there in turns 1 and 2 at Kokomo, and I literally again took 2 steps back, and Bob grabbed out on me and says, "Watch." And the cars would go into the corner, and like you stand above the wall, they disappear under they go in the corner, then they disappear, and then they go because they're literally on the fence. He said that's the racing line. I was like, all right, okay, like wow.
I've seen the videos. It's not.
Yeah, it does take a bit of getting your head around. But then, I didn't do anything spectacular that night either. I got faster and faster and faster, and then, as Robert Blue says, the string broke. I ended up absolutely destroying it. I clipped the wall coming off. I got on the racing line, and then clipped the wall and absolutely destroyed it.
You're on the edge, though, aren't you?
Yeah, you're absolutely balls out. And
no room for error.
No, the slightest bit of mistake, like you.
Was that your mistake when that happened? Then
just again, like
what was it?
It's getting used to the speed. I was going way too fast for my capability at that time, way too fast. But he said I had to get on the racetrack, and I did, and absolutely destroyed it. So
there you go, mate. There's the racetrack.
Yeah, so that was we had to get a new chassis and some other bits, but yeah, we rebuilt it, and we're still going over there and playing today.
So have you still got your car?
Yeah, I've got. Yeah, so like I say, when I drove for Davidson's, I raced the wing car with the World of Outlaws at Eldora. We raced at Volusia as well. I made the World of Outlaw A main at Volusia. I made the King's Royal 175,000 to win at Eldora. Let's Race 2. That was pretty cool. I've had some really special things.
Finals.
Yeah, really special. To be there, race with the best of best, race with Larson, Donny Schatz,
Are you
Brad
quite
Sweet.
respected out there now?
I don't know really. I know a lot of people out there. Yeah.
I mean, well, you're not just some idiot from England. Like, Tom, he is quite competitive when he comes over.
Yeah, the USAC guys, especially now, like Spridge and stuff that run that, they're really good with me. And like Robert Blue's like my best mate. I speak to him on the phone every day, 2 or 3 hours a day. I've always have him on the phone, and I keep all my stuff at his shop, and he's great at me. And yeah, like you're just not an idiot that's just showing up now.
No,
you're going there to compete. Like I said, like this time in Florida, over the years I've got better and better equipment. So now I've got 2 proper cars. Brian Clawson's dad, Tim. I bought the cars from him, and he's followed me since I started racing out there, and I'm getting quite well with him. And like I say, then Rob Blue does loads for me, and Bernie Indy Race Parts, there's Chalk Stick Torsion Bars, there's loads of people over there that like help me,
but that's what you need.
Yeah,
to get better and better.
You need help. I got loaned a pickup truck to take my trailer and stuff to Florida this time because it was just made everything so much easier. It's like a brand new truck. Just take that, you'll be right. Just take that. Like it's nothing. But it made the life so much easier. It was a brand new pickup. Just pulled the trailer, no problem. We had no issues. Aircon, lovely. It was just really nice to drive. Made the journey far quicker.
Made it a lot
more enjoyable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I say, we're waiting on that. I'd have been back twice already this year, but waiting on a house and a yard down here. So
once that gets sorted,
we'll be able to go back again.
Nice. I'm sure we've got plenty more to talk about America, but I want to talk about New Zealand. How many times you been over there?
A lot.
A lot?
Yeah.
What, to race? I mean,
race, yeah. I think I went 2009, I think the first time I went was Team GB. And then, again, we've got so many great people out there, so many great friends. Joplin family have been absolutely awesome with me. They've been wanting me to go back for a while, but because it always clashes with Chili Bowl, and I want to do the America thing while I can, because I got the drive of Keith Coons and, opportunity to drive one of his cars. It was great. And then
it's hard to do that when you have got the opportunity sat there.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
You don't want to waste that opportunity.
No, you don't want to waste it because if you don't go one year, then you might not get the opportunity to go back. So
exactly.
And it's good now as well because we've got a couple of other English people going out there as well. Like Jack France has been the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. Brandon Carr's out there racing now, which is good. Get the English boys out there. It's sort of like the doors are opening for us to go over there, and it's good because the Americans respect us go over there and to compete. We're not just idiots that ride around at the back. We're actually going there and competing, sort of thing. So yeah, it's really hard to make time to do everything. And obviously this year, winning the world final again, I was adamant I was going to New Zealand, but then I got the opportunity to go and race at the Chili Bowl as well. And then I got my own stuff, which I had got a new car, went in November and picked a new car up. And that was all sat there ready to go for Florida as well. So it was a really busy couple of months. And obviously we've got customer cars to do here and work to do here as well. So
you didn't end up going?
No, I went.
you did go?
I did everything. Yeah, I went to Chili Bowl in January.
He's going. He did actually go,
I did go. Yeah, I shouldn't have gone really, but
you did.
Sia said you're only here once. You're here for a good time,
Yeah,
not a long
yeah.
time. So so we flew out to Chili Bowl. So I was there for 12 days.
It's mental.
Then we drove back from Tulsa to Dallas, and then I flew from Dallas straight to New Zealand. Got to New Zealand, got given an absolute amazing car. Like, you know, they think our cars are expensive. They have, you know, $250,000 in their car, $500,000 in their cars.
Sorry?
$250,000. Yeah, they're serious money in those.
Oh wow.
They're really.
And they lend them out.
Yeah, just they're mad. Yeah,
they're mad for it. Well, the racing it is as good as it looks.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And like I say, I haven't been and done 240s for probably 10 years, and to go over there and meet everybody or see everybody again and catch up and then race again, I really enjoyed it. Like, really enjoyed it. So it's just what to do now, isn't it? Like, because
you can't do everything.
No, but you need to do everything, don't you? I keep saying I can't do everything. I can't be here working and being in Chili Bowl and New Zealand, and then obviously then come. I think I was home for 3 or 4 days. I come back from New Zealand, home 3 or 4 days, and I went back to Florida to sprint car. It was just
drop tools, right? We're going to Florida.
It was just one of those things, and like Dad always moans at me, like, cause when we're going to America, I don't know, because I literally just roll in there on a Wednesday. So right, we're going to America on Friday. Like, it's just
busy.
Yeah, it is busy, but I love it as well. And like, the more you race, the more you do anything, the better you're going to get at it.
Yeah. I think obviously you move into making it a career now, like with your stock cars, building them. That has allowed you to then, you're working for yourself. If you do want to go, look, I know the customer cars are there, but I'm going to go for a week.
Yeah,
you can just drop it like that because you've built that yourself. And you've made it so you can do that.
Yeah, and
if you was working for someone else,
no, you couldn't do that.
That ain't happening.
No, it's not. No, and it's really good as well. The friends that I've gained and the people that I've met. There's so many nice people out there, like in New Zealand and America, that help so much, that make it possible to go and do that. Yeah. You know, like Robert Ballou again. I literally got to Florida. He'd got my car down off his mezzanine floor. You know, it was all sat there ready for us to finish. He'd left like. We landed at like 11 o'clock at night at Indy, so it was like 1 o'clock in the morning we got to his house. He had left to go to Florida before we got there. He went to watch Supercross in Tampa and just left us the keys to his house. His workshop's open. Just use what you want, take what you want. You know, he's got a massive fridge there full of NOS energy, and it's nothing's ever a problem. It's just use what you want, take what you want, and have a good time.
Good.
Like when we get to the track and stuff, you know, I just say it's our trailer because I literally just go in his trailer, and if whatever I don't have, it's hard to get parts there because they don't have any parts trailers at the tracks. A lot of the teams like carry everything, spare car in bits, and then spares of spares, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So I had a bit of damage and Bennett Jacobs ladder and stuff in Bubba, and just went on his truck, helped myself, and then he was just, no problem, take what you want.
That is what makes it possible.
That's what makes it possible.
The help from everyone.
Without those people, I couldn't go and do it.
No.
I couldn't go and race. No. Like, I would have nowhere to. I couldn't afford to rent somewhere over there to keep my car.
Nowhere to stay. Nowhere to put the car.
No, and it saves massive on hotels. Like, we'll just go to his house, and if there's a lot of us, then his dad lives just across the road. So some of us are going to stay at his dad's house. Some of us will stay in his house. Some will stay in his Toyota home. Like, it's just nothing's ever a problem. They're all so welcoming and so friendly and so helpful. It really makes it possible.
That's crazy. So shout out to, I mean, there's
so many people.
There's plenty of people
you can't. No. Yeah, plenty of people remember.
We won't start mentioning them because
you're going to forget someone, and then we'll be in trouble. But no.
A lot of people are helping Tom Harris do what he is doing, and that is racing massive. In England. You know, being one of the top drivers in the F1s. You know, competing over in America with his own cars. Racing in New Zealand, I'm sure you make an impact over there every time you go when you can go. But there's a lot of people. It's not just us. You know, it's not just us and our family. There's a lot of families and friends which you've built up over the years of going to get to the point we're at. Because, like I said, it's there's not many places you can go. Like Joblin's, I raced Scott's own car. Like, I didn't get a hire car. Mm-hmm. I had his own car, and my dad was there before us, and they had a brand new engine shipped in from America. So I thought I was using it as it was. No, put the brand new engine in. Like, we want the best of the best. Like, we're not messing about. It's we're going for it, and that's. Like those people, very, very privileged to know those people and be in the position to go and race good cars and have good opportunities and good equipment to back it up. Good. Brilliant. won't keep you too much longer. British on Sunday. What's your chances? What's your thoughts?
Well, it depends how Bambi on Ice is getting on behind us. So new car, we struggle with it on its debut. It's going to be tough at Hednesford. Whether you got a good car or a bad car, it's going to be tough because there's not many cars. It's a big wide open track. It's going to be sort of like, I think, a mixed grid.
Yeah.
With the lower graders always seem to get away and do well at Hednesford when there's
because it's done by your heats.
Yeah. So you qualify. I think you get 3 out of 5 heats.
Yeah.
And then highest points starts on pole of in points order of a closed grid. So it's normally a bit of a mixed grid, the British, because the lower graders get a couple of good heat results, and we're all battling out at the back and whatever. And the car wasn't very good on its debut. It wasn't like the other one, but why would you build 2 the same? No, we all kind of knew it. Literally, I booked in at like 2:30 in the morning to go, and we're still working on it. And then literally finished it, rolled it in the trailer. I didn't even drive it. Catherine backed out of here, put it in the trailer, and headed off to Ipswich with it. But it's just the little bits, if you new parts and no fault of our own. There was a faulty caliper, faulty master cylinder, faulty brake valve, and we just had a roll around. We had some fast lap times by the end of the weekend. So that's what we're going to go Skegness tomorrow, just to make sure that we've ironed all the problems out. We had a couple of engine issues. The engine was getting warm as well, so just want to make sure we fixed all the problems of it before we go on Sunday and give ourselves the best opportunity and the best chance we've got.
Well, you got to. Especially with the name you got now, there's no point going there half-hearted, is there?
No, definitely not. And obviously, now having the 4 majors and winning the European, the first major title of the year, winning the European, and now I've got all 4, I kind of be nice to win them all in the same year, wouldn't it? That's never been number 4. It's just all those the next step, isn't it? And never, I say I'm never not happy. If I always want to win, I always want more.
You're competitive.
Yeah, you're competitive, and
you don't win 5 world titles unless you think like that.
No, and I want to win, and I want to be the best I can be, and do well for the people that put the money in and put the time and the effort. Ben and Darren come week in and week out. My dad, my mum, my dad helps loads. Catherine helps heaps. My mum sells all the merchandise and all the teamwear. She spends hours organising sizes and posting stuff out to people. It's, all that is you have to, and being successful, kind of give back to them, because it's for everybody. It's not for me. Everybody wins.
Win.
Yeah, it's good for everybody, and it's nice to be able to give back to the people that give to me. Then, like I said, the sponsors get their name out there. If I win, do well, it's another picture. It's
pictures, videos.
It's a bit of give back to those as well, because obviously they give so much to me. It's nice to give back to those.
Good. I'm glad. Are we going to win or not?
Well, I'm going to try. Catherine will probably beat me, won't she? The last British.
Is she taking that car?
Yeah, she's taking that one. Yeah. So the last British, I got a flat tyre, and I was sat on the infield, and she caught Ryan Harrison and sat behind him for 3 or 4 laps, and I was screaming in the car, "Now,
to him!
You stupid! What are you doing now?" And she didn't. And anyway, fair play to her. He was loose, and she got into his kind of rhythm.
Yeah.
And obviously he was in control, and he half moved wide for her to go past, and I was like, no. And she didn't. She tucked back in behind him. Massive last bender. What a finish. It was
brilliant.
But again, it's what I went back to before. She's never been in that position before. So if she's in that position again, it'll be done completely different. You have to go through that to get to the point of being able to, to be in the situation and to be able to follow it up and finish the job off.
But how long will it take to get in that situation again? That's where the years and years and years of experience gets you to that.
Yeah.
Because it takes 4 years to get in that same position again. And you think, I ain't going to make that mistake again.
No, that's the thing. It's the dedication as well. Yeah. Whether you win or lose, you have to keep back next week.
Yeah. You have to learn.
You have to learn. Better yourself, and just keep, she's so hard on herself as well, Catherine. She drove the shell car a couple of times, and she says, "Oh, I'm crap on shell." Well, no, you're not. You're starting off red. You qualify for the final. You've not driven that car before. That's, it's like this. She's so hard on herself. I jump out of that. I raced it at the UK Open weekend, and she got back in it, and she hated it. But I drive completely different to what she does, then it just she's not in the seat much, and then she expects to go in it and win. Well, it's not that easy. It's not easy. The sport now is probably the hardest it's been in a while. With
so competitive.
There's no rubbish cars anymore. We've got lower graders that got the same equipment as what we've got. So it's just experience and traffic which helps you get to the front. It's a tough sport. And like I said, the bumpers, the stock cars, bumpers make it interesting, because the fattest car doesn't always win.
No, definitely not. Right. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you taking the time. And you can now load up and go to Skeg.
Thank you very much.
Top man, thank you.
you.
Good luck to Tom on Sunday at Hednesford defending his British Championship. If you do want to support Tom in his racing, head on over to his car and lorry in the pits and grab yourself some merchandise. We will also be there on Sunday racing in a Rebel with thanks to AJ Davis, Rent a Rebel. See you there.